Hey, Patrick here with a VOD review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fnatic Bwipo. I was going through his match history and seeing that he was putting up some pretty good numbers while still on a massive lose streak. Not entirely uncommon for a player as high ranked as he is. He's 1100 LP, and at the beginning of this lose streak I imagine he was about 1200. The way the matchmaking works is you get placed with players that are much weaker on your team, so it doesn't actually look like it's too imbalanced here. He's got 2 challengers and 3 grandmasters, but for the most part you get placed with allies that are weaker than your opponents when you get to this high of an LP bracket. That's what people are talking about when they mean Season 9 matchmaking, so if you're complaining about other stuff, don't. Anyway, I was curious about these Camille games because I play Camille quite a bit, and these are matchups that are very difficult for Camille. At least, well, yeah, I would say all 3 of these are hard matchups for Camille. GP is hard because he doesn't have a setup jungler he doesn't have a jungler that can really apply too much pressure to Gangplank, and Camille in the Gangplank is a common counter pick in pro play because of Camille's ability to kind of scale up and eventually start pressuring the GP pretty hard. But it's also a really good gank setup, and GP does not like to be ganked. With that being said, if you have a Karthus on your team, it's not really an insane punish. If you have something more well-rounded, for example a Gragas, that's great. But with a Karthus, it's a little bit harder to punish this GP. So I'm curious to see how he manages to get a good KDA and good numbers here. I could just be the Karthus camping him, but I don't think so, based off of the Karthus KDA and all that. So. Runes, he goes Fleet Footwork, Overheal, Legend, Bloodline, Last Stand, Normal. The Overheal, Bloodline, Fleet combination is pretty good because it lets you weather a bit of the harass that GP is going to be putting down, lets you run around his barrels a little bit more effectively with Q, and it's more just, you're doubling down to the scaling option here, because frankly, if you're going to go Camille into GP, you're not going to win early trade super easily with something maybe that would give you more early in power, like the grasp, or the press the attack would be good for setup. But anyway, he opts to go Fleet. That's pretty common into GP. Secondary is Magical Footwear and Biscuits. Again, more sustain. Nothing really that weird there. And the boots are a concession saying that I'm not going to be smashing super hard early, most likely. I'm not going to be banking on that. He just wants to get that Trinity Force out as soon as possible, and the boots are a 300 gold detour. More move speed when they do pop also helps, but he's not going to need that move speed early. You're not going to see first item tabbies, most likely. That would be very strange, since he probably wants to go. Well, he could opt into Mercs or tabbies this game if Kaisa goes AD. Tabbies are a viable option, but I would say this is probably a Mercs game. Not that it matters if he was against a Jace or something and really wanted to sustain through, but alright, so we know Karthus is starting bot side. Karthus uses Ward and Pixel. That means he knows Karthus is going to be pathing up towards top side most likely, because he's not going to be invading the Nidalee, right? Unless he has some intel and trades. Okay, it looks like he's he's going to go for a minion pull here. And this does 2 things. I'm seeing this even more, even on lower ranks when I'm reviewing students or playing on my Smurf. In relatively low ranks here, my Smurf is D2, and I see it probably half the games now. This is just a kind of a trick that allows you to... Most people, I think, do it because they think it's going to eliminate 1 minion, and this is a nice trick. I mean, if you can get a 1 minion advantage, that's great and all, but you're not really getting too much of an advantage because you're missing out on the push advantage. Inherently by letting your 1 minion die a little bit faster. Now, of course, you can make up for this by auto-attacking all the minions and softening them before the other guy gets to the lane, because if you're doing this, the guy's probably leashing or late the lane for some reason. But the main advantage to this is that by causing these minions to focus fire and stay a little bit closer to this side, because even if they just, the RNG isn't good and they spread aggro, it's still going to mean that the minion line, instead of being center, is a little bit towards GP's side. So that means that the next wave is going to push, and that's going to create a faster push into Bwipo. And that's what he wants, because imagine that Bwipo is getting shoved in at like level 3.5. Really slow push, or we'll just say like just as he turns level 3, whatever. Or as GP's turning level 3, right? He has a giant wave built up. GP's got a point or two in his queue. Not super impactful, but still starts like queuing Bwipo to death. It's gonna cause a lot of harass under his tower, right? Now, if the wave crashes sooner, there's gonna be less minions because it's gonna be a faster crash, right? Like a slower push usually means a bigger minion wave, all things being equal. This allows Bwipo to take control of the lane again with the rebounds, and then start threatening GP when he wants to threaten GP, which is around level 3, because Camille is going to be able to fight GP on first base after she gets hookshot and Q, right? Needs a few levels so the minions don't just like tear shit up. She can't just go in level 1 with hookshot because minions will kill her. But once she gets E, Q, W, whatever, she can start to take some decent trades against GP. She wants to take decent trades against GP, and then hopefully be in a somewhat advantageous spot to weather the post-Sheen apocalypse that GP is going to put down on her with harass. Also, notably, by letting it push into her, if Karthus doesn't full clear, including his Gromp and Wolves, then GP will be in a vulnerable spot when he comes top. If he does, it'll probably still be rebounding in here, depending on how much GP harasses and how much Bwipo trades back. Oh yeah, Endoran Shield, pretty common start, along with the fleet and the bloodline, all that against GP. Using Brushwell. He's won the skill check so far. GP had to invest all 3 barrels there, so he did a level 1 triple barrel, but now he's barrelless for quite a bit of time. 5 seconds till his next one. Interesting. So Nidalee invading. GP Bwipo's not moving. He doesn't have a point invested in his E or Q, so he could get a point in E and run right now. I think he's panning his camera, and he's just accepting that Karthus is dead. But due to Yasuo's positioning in the lane, I think it's a little bit weird that he's not moving, to be honest. I mean, if he had moved the second he saw it, he'd be about here right now. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, he opts not to. I don't think it's terrible not to move. I don't think it's terrible to move either, though. However, now he's in a somewhat compromised position. Nidalee with red buff and E is going to be going up in life quite fast. You might be wondering why he stays, because Nidalee is probably going to be pressuring him under with this, this big wave. His health bar is pretty low. He's got the 1 biscuit, but other than that, no sustain. It's because Karthus, he knows that Karthus is he has to path top, right? There's nowhere else for Karthus to move. Suppose Karthus could path towards Nidalee Krugs, which are probably not down. We have map hacks because that's just the way spectator mode works, so we know that she didn't do Krugs, but Karthus should know that too. But that would be a very, very strange path. I think just going top is what most junglers in like a solo queue. That's what you can bank on your teammates doing most of the time. So he's going because he has Karthus protection. He could, of course, just TP back with a high health pool, but that means he's not going to be getting all these minions. He's currently sitting on 300 gold, so he would just be getting like a refillable and a rejuvenation bead. And the rejuvenation bead would just be tech against the GP in order to like, sustain. And then you're like filling up 2 item slots for some sustain, some weak sustain, and then GP, of course, gets a much better base, and you don't want that. So It's not greed, this is just the right play to stay. Wow, that was actually really beautiful. Oh, that wasn't. Okay, well, those melee minions, the way he CS those was really good. So, okay, GP uses his port back. It's gonna be up at 940. He saw the well, I saw. I'm assuming he did too. Nidalee just took Scryer here. He's opting to stay. He wants to get a little bit better of a base timing. I'm guessing that due to the way Karthus is pathing and due to the way that he knows that Nidalee still should have some top camps up, so he definitely wants to, you know, Nidalee could do, it's probably unlikely that Nidalee does Scryer and to run straight back top, but this is the only ward he has. I think he'll take these minions and then be in a kind of awkward spot when he TPs back. He assumes she's on a camp here. If she's not on a camp, he dies. I think he actually dies anyway. Yeah, that was a... Yeah, he would have at least had use flash. And that's the downside of picking someone like Camille in the GP. You really want to fight them, you really want to get an advantage, but you doing it without jungle setup, or unless he makes a pretty big mistake. Now what he was trying to do was he was trying to get a small trade-off. Notice that if he had just traded flashes with GP, which he couldn't have, by the way, once GP had flashed, it was checkmate. But if he had just used his flash, then it actually would have been a successful trade probably, because GP, while he does have a lot of corrupting stacks in the total biscuit, he's going to TP back with a Doran's Blade plus a refillable potion. That is a fair amount of sustain, considering, you know, I mean, he doesn't have any Legend Bloodline stacks, but that's 3.6% lifesteal at 20 CS. Plus the Doran Shield passive, plus the refillable potion. That's enough to actually keep on pressuring the GP pretty damn hard. GP has no more TP, so what he wanted to do is he wanted to take a trade before he teleported back. And that didn't really work out. He ends up dying, but that was the intention behind it. So now he's slow pushing because he's assuming that GP is basing. GP could also just be hiding in fog to try to feign. But if Camille pushes as hard as she can, it's not even gonna the wave will be big enough and she'll be able to crash it, and then she'll get a reset here. But because she's sitting on so little gold, if she does that, it's only like she's gonna have like 450 gold on a base, and then she can get maybe another Doran's Blade or like boots or a longsword. Another Doran's Blade's out of the question because you're just filling up your inventory spot too much at this point. She wants to build Trinity Force. That's inventory costly, so there's absolutely no reason here to fast push it, I think. He's denying the most amount of minions that he can by doing this. If he was playing someone that could hard shove really fast, then pushing would force GP to either stay in lane or lose more minions. But given that that's not the case, he's opting to. So GP did end up basing. Get some mana crystal. Now he's giving up CS of his own to get good trades on GP. And unfortunately GP is a very annoying champion. But what he's trying to do now is he's trying to, now that he's, I mean, given that he's trying now, I think he was expecting to get a better trade, and now he realizes he needs to get the wave under tower. By taking that aggressive of a trade, it's very clear he doesn't want GP to be able to sustain up. Why isn't GP running corrupting? Okay, now he is. But honestly, wait. Yeah. So, looks like he's good. Try and get these minions in. Or maybe he was trying to get a kill, I don't know, but yeah. Loses his flash for that. These casters are still going to be out, and GP is going to be able to get not a perfect freeze, but enough of a freeze to have the wave in a good spot when Camille gets back and have it slow pushing to her. He's opting to stay for another wave, takes another tower shot. He has to leave. Yeah. Okay, this is not terrible. Right, like, because it's 3-3 minions, the way it's going to move back. Does GP have barrels? He has one barrel. I don't think he can push it in time, so the lane will be in a good spot. If Karthus opts to stay, like you can see there's a controller, so if Karthus moves here, GP is probably gonna... Okay, I was gonna say he's probably gonna recall, but... Yeah, okay. This is GP's first major mistake. I imagine it'll get punished quite hard. GP has no business trying to push this out, which is one barrel. You can tell. He doesn't... Oh wait, he has a second barrel. What? Maybe if he had chain barrel, he could have gotten it in. I don't know, but... Regardless now, see what's gonna happen. Even if Camille wasn't here, for whatever reason, like you see what the lane state does. He realizes that Camille is gonna get back, and he gives her a freeze. So Bwipo now is going to maybe thin the wave a bit. He's gonna ult to try to get it in. Okay. So he ends up spending his ult for that. It's not worth it for the GP. Because yeah, he can just thin the wave here. If he wants to, he can maintain a freeze. He can pull the minions out this direction. Yep. Okay. See what's happening here. Nightmare's happening behind him. Again, he outs not to move when that's happening. When did we see it? So by the time, yeah, he also was recalling, and by this time, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what he does here is he pulls the minions, so they'll be pretty center of the lane. If the minions are going to go like here, then we'll push back to GP faster. But by just doing this, he's clumping the minions. He's not trying to create a freeze, right? Because he doesn't have kill threat on GP. If you don't have kill threat on somebody, then it's really, really pointless to try to make a freeze. Like, you know, no jungle, no kill threat. And GP will know this. So he'll just push in the minions and use the extra minions to harass Bwipo under tower. Now what he's trying to do here is he's trying to thin the wave a little bit, make GP lose a couple minions, and then probably proceed to push the wave back. So I'm a little bit surprised he didn't thin the minions. He just killed a couple. But GP actually got back to lane pretty quick, so faster than I was kind of expecting. The rewinds and stuff. I lost track. But yeah, you don't want to, like, in this scenario, you don't want to freeze it in a way that's going to have a massive wave crashing into you because it's range versus melee, effectively. And GP is going to be back. Does he have a Sheen by now? Yeah, he does. He has a Sheen already because we saw the Mana Crystal, right? So you know he's going to come back with a Sheen. He's going to shoot you a million times and you're just going to lose all your health. You're not going to have TP. And then he's going to have another push advantage. So Bwipo didn't want that many minions that he would have to either give up or lose his entire HP for bar 4. So he CS'd some. Freezing at all even there was questionable. Maybe he could have just started thinning from the beginning or let it crash into tower. But it's a matter of if he wants to deny GP CS or just try to like focus on getting himself the most amount of CS. A lot of times it'll come down to that. Like, do you want to decelerate both of your item spikes? Now in this scenario, I think in general, if you can trade 1 CS with 1 CS for Camille to GP, it's worth it for Camille because GP runs the lane until about 2 items. 1 item can be beneficial for Camille, and it, of course, like if you get a little bit ahead as Camille, once you hit that Trinity Force spike, it's fucking over. But like many of Camille's matchups, she just wants to get to 2 items, and she has a lot of ability to like make plays before that, but she requires her team for that. Once she hits 2 items, she's got all the mobility and damage she needs, along with a inordinate amount of lifesteal. She's got the Wave Clear from the Ravenous. 2 items being the Ravenous plus Trinity Force. That's the split push 2 items. If you go like Starax or whatever, then okay. So this is pretty cool. So wait, did he already take the big trade here? No, that was... We're back. Yeah, okay. I was talking, so I probably should just pause it. Alright. So this trade is interesting because it's actually a fine trade to make. I don't think he wanted it to go this even, but it's still a fine trade to make because he has the Karthus, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure he has Karthus R. Yeah, see, Karthus just used R. I was gonna say, like, I didn't see it on GP recently, but maybe he used it. Yeah, okay. Spectator mode. Really, really cool. Small indie company. So by taking this trade, and I mean, this is after Karthus already used R, so now a little bit of the threat is down. He's able to shove it in. The only problem is we just saw bot shove out the wave, and they have a Leona. Okay, so he already has Mobies, so he knows that Leona can be top in about 20 seconds. Well, 25 seconds. He also knows that Nidalee can and probably will be moving topside soon. So the fact that GP is staying is either GP is being a little greedy or GP has backup. And we now know if GP stays again, he'll almost certainly have backup because, like, they can still maybe go for it, but since they don't have complete information. So Karthus is counter jungling, so they have vision there. Oh, but Nidalee actually moved through the Karthus. Is Nidalee there? Yeah. And he's dead. Yeah. Ooh, that's so bad. That's a 1K shot. Oh, hey. That's Hylissang. It's funny, for those of you who don't know, I play on EOS solo queue, and I knew the name Sweeney Todd for months, and I just thought he was just this random guy that, you know, bit of a dick, bit of a flamer. I didn't realize he was Hylissang until, like, probably my, like, 15th game playing with him. And I saw him a lot, and it never clicked. Oh, I guess I never looked at the OPGG or, like, saw a stream or anything like that. So he's deeping bots, and if spectator mode is true, Lucian had flash. That's not good. He probably could have flashed towards Bwipo, but alright. Okay, Bwipo goes for Tiamat here. That's pretty interesting. You're kind of denying your scaling from Trinity Force. You're just denying your spike. That's the biggest thing. You're delaying spike by quite a bit. Tiamat is comparable to a Trinity Force item. Can be stronger in some scenarios. Basically an extra auto attack. And of course it lets you take control of the wave faster. I'm guessing he just wants to go for as many roams as possible. He doesn't want to get tied down to a lane. He doesn't want to get shoved in. He wants to be able to shove and then roam. Due to how dire the situation is, they probably need to make something happen. If they stabilize the game, they have a pretty strong scaling comp. It's Karthus plus Camille plus Yasuo. There's a lot you can do there. The Rakan Yasuo, plus just the guaranteed damage of the Karthus. But currently, as it stands, and of course Infernal Drake. But as it stands, you know, they're hemorrhaging really, really hard. So pretty high entropy game. I would have liked to see a bit more of an extended lane phase. They might go back. The towers are still a little healthy, but given that bot is down, I'm starting to think, you know, bot and dragon are down, so this map's probably gonna get a little bit funky. So I would have definitely liked to see how he plays against the GP over the course of a longer lane phase, because in that scenario, GP can definitely cause a lot more bullying. Going for the TP and going for these trades creates a bit of an entropy that is kind of necessary if you're not getting jungle attention and you don't have pressure elsewhere on the map as Camille. Alright. The red team comeback. Man, if the that 1K shot down onto Nidalee had gone onto the Yasuo instead of the Rakan earlier, that would have been so good for them. Okay, he's moving for GP. If GP doesn't move about now, then he's in trouble. GP is healthy. that Rakan's following. And GP has flash, so. Like Camille, no R. Yeah, GP tries to stay and fight, and yeah, he just flashed too late. For what it's worth, I think that's a fine instinct for like a solo queue player. Like, these are top 2 EUS pros playing on comfort picks. It's like in duo on presumably on voice comps. I don't think most of the time taking that trade as GP is a bad idea, since you know you're gonna win it, right? Kiting back. So they're staying for plates here. That makes a ton of sense. Though what doesn't make sense is why Rakan is staying for plates. That makes very little sense to me because you're probably getting 1 extra plate. So you're what did they get? Is this oh, this is unfortunate. It was just down. But okay, so they got 1, 2. They might get a 3rd plate by staying, right? But he's gonna get 2 plates by himself. So it's gonna be 80 gold less on Camille and 240 more on Rakan, which is fine. Like 240 Rakan is probably better than 80 on Camille, right? It's a pretty big spread. But the problem is we have a. Does he have Mobies? Yeah, he's already got Mobies. He's a full health Rakan, and the enemy team is on the map, right? Like GP is gonna spawn. I don't know if GP has R or not. It's really hard to tell with spectator mode. Looks like he doesn't. He doesn't have TP or R, whatever, but it's still 3v4 on the map, right? And like mid tower's up, and that's the only thing that's up. We don't have very good vision control around mid tower, so they can make a play on mid. They can make a play on bot, presumably, but he wants. I mean, giving up Dragon is okay. That's fine, but you need to prevent your team from dying. I think tempo is more important than plates, and that's a very common trade-off. Tempo versus plates, but now Leona's mid. She showed, so Yasuo's gonna have to back off and give up plates, or he's gonna stay and die. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if Rakan was there, then you could get. I mean, if they had incomplete vision or Rakan was there, he could have triple killed that, completely changed the course of the game. No mana on Camille. They're gonna lose this. Azir's probably gonna get mid before Lucian comes. Yeah, he should. If he goes for it. Yep. Okay, Karthus is defending the last remnant of top tower. This is super risky by Karthus. They're moving top immediately because they see that Karthus is overextending. I mean, it's not like Karthus is overextending. Yeah, he's probably overextending. But anyway, this is the reason they're going top. They see Karthus is there. That's fine. There's nowhere else to be on the map, right? They'd probably go top anyway. Or if they did, they'd be going somewhere else that's equally bad. There's no objectives up. There's no... Like, might as well just kind of try to defend this outer tower. Don't kill yourself for it if you're in this position. You don't want to lose the game because you wanted to defend 1k HP outer that's only 250 standing gold, right? But like, you might as well go for it later if you... Okay, they're going for pick. I really like this because look at their champions. Like, they're probably on comms saying, "Oh, fuck this team." Going for picks is the only way Rakan and Camille are going to get back into the game, right? And they've got a Karthus that allows them to kind of shore up some damage. So it's basically like you've got an extra little mini champion there to deal some extra damage. So they saw Scryer. So I think they saw someone take Scryer. Though it was a little bit weird, the direction. Okay, yeah, Natalie took Scryer. She was just late. Hey, They need to back off. They saw in Italy, now they're seeing Leona move. Although Zir is staying, so that's making the threat way lower. Yeah, just recalling here. Yeah, I don't think the threat's so high. If they, with this ward and all that, they can probably just get out. They're very mobile champions. Looks like they're going back mid. Oh no, going for another pick. Okay, again, intelligent. Ooh. And they got a TP, that's nice. Yeah. Now they know that, yeah, Leona and, wait, Nidalee? Yeah, no, I was like stalling, but Nidalee just came in the frame right there, right? So, I mean, they saw people left mid, so they know they're working on a timer, so he gets this Q2 on his ear, chunks him out. That's nice. That reduces threat. That combined with Karthus R chunks him to like 2/3, but at this point, they're stalling. They're waiting for Karthus to arrive. And Lucian, but Lucian is so far away. Oh, and Yasuo actually TP'd in. Okay, so they are currently 3v3, and once Karthus arrives, it's 3v4. So this can be good for them, considering his ear is also already chunked out. So Karthus just died on the back end, but he bought them some time. And he used 0R, but yeah, Karthus probably kind of entered that. Their team's so far ahead, and he's just so off the spike, but like, you can see along with Trinity Force, it's definitely more apparent. The way he played this fight was really good, right? So you can see he gets his Q, uses his Q2, immediately Qs the Leona again to try to charge it up, and then waits, and then Q2s again. So he's basically playing the fights around, you know, just getting in, Q2ing, and then getting out. And that's really Camille's kind of our basic pattern. Obviously, you know, you get the attack speed on E, you can definitely fuck people up by just going all in on them, but in this scenario, definitely just getting those chunks out. He did a lot of damage in the last fight. Wait, what? Oh yeah, they hard won this. Though why is he clearing the ward? Wow, I guess he just knew his limits, that he knew that he could get to him, but it's pretty. Definitely, I thought he was inting as Lucian was going in. He's staying for an item. Opts for the team fighting option. I like this because if you're going for like a Vamp Scepter or something, I think he's going Sterax, right? He's not going to go like Titanic right now, but and he'll probably go Ravenous later just because I think it's just better most of the time, especially in solo queue. But regardless of what he builds second, or is his Tiamat, definitely going Sterax now, unless base timing is like really good for Titanic. Tiamat. Sterax is just better. He wants a team fighting. So really what he's thinking is the Jarms is giving him 300 extra HP, right? Compared to a Vamp Scepter that's like less AD and just lifesteal. And if you've watched the way this played out, he's not going to be able to like be a side lane threat because of the way this map is very, very dark for them. Imagine what happens if he goes to a side lane, you know? They just collapse on him, they collapse on his team, like he basically has to be doing this. Like, it's like playing flanks right now. Wow, that was insane. What the fuck? He gets on Italy from here without... He doesn't even... Whoa. He E'd, and so this is basically Camille's range. He went through this wall, so he E'd to like here, and then that pushed him to the end of the wall, similar to he flashed through that. I've never seen someone do that before. I don't know if that was intentional. I think it was. Or at least like semi-intentional. So he zones the Azir instead of going for the Kaisa, which cursory glance is a little bit int, but then you realize Azir has no flash, Kaisa does have flash and R, and you're like, okay, I can get behind this. But yeah, he chose the path between pushing Azir here to like instead of like flanking. How did this happen? So he chases off Azir. Right, yeah. Gets Azir R. Rakan moves into position. It's still 3v5 on the map, so they feel pretty safe. Oh, he loses a big part of his health bar actually doing Gromp. Really intelligent to just have the foresight of like, they're probably doing this camp. You're not really losing much, right? Like if this is pro play, maybe they respect him a bit more, but given that solo queue, like, you can understand why this is such a great play, because most of the time he's going to be doing this Gromp, and what else do you lose on the map? Like, he could have immediately rotated bot, but I mean, just as easily, Yasuo could have not greeted for this random top wave, right? And like collected bot, or Karthus could have gone bot. So yeah, it's a really good play. Though Karthus going bot is a little on the inside, given that they have Mountain Drake and Kaisa and Nazir with 20 minutes coming up soon. Though he'd probably be able to collect and get top before Azir spawns. So, can they get this? No. GP. Azir's gonna be back soon. So they've stabilized. I honestly like the way. How did they lose this? Because usually when you've got pro players on your team, the late game is where they shine, right? Like if they don't smash early, they're probably gonna smash late. They can do shot calling and stuff. I don't know. It's weird. They have like two champions that can basically lead their entire team to victory, right? Like if Bwipo and Hylissang play right, I don't see how these guys managed to int it. Maybe Bwipo and Hylissang int it. I don't know. But I mean, at this point, I think if I was a betting man, I would put money onto red side. Actually, I am a betting man. I just need someone to play against me, you know? Yeah, they're starting it with Earth Dragon. Bwipo has TP up. I don't think he has time to recall. Okay. So, Bwipo knows that Karthus is gonna get the... I don't know, seems a little int, right? Because, like, I mean, we didn't know where GP was, but... he was coming off spawn, right? No. Yeah, wait. So GP's bot. GP, I think, has no TP. Again, spectator, but I'm pretty sure he has no TP. And then... oh no, I guess he has TP. The way it's cooling down. Yeah, okay. But still, like, I'm confused why he doesn't have anything to TP to. Maybe he's typing in chat to get a word, but this is okay. They had information. I think he just wanted to get the recall off, but they had Mountain Drake, and we saw how fast it was burning. I mean, I don't exactly know the thought process behind that. Maybe he just thought that they couldn't win the fight. Maybe he really wanted to get that Sterax. He was like 80% health at least, right? And then like he had enough mana for a rotation. But anyway, they're just gonna win because of that, I guess. But they're not gonna win for some reason. Yeah, well. I mean, definitely the Runon's Infinity Kaisa is going to be doing a lot of work this game, but... and Azir potentially. But he hasn't really done much this game. It's a little deep. Camille is very good at killing towers after you get your Sheen, Trinity Force, whatever. Tiamat plus Sheen is like mini version. Tiamat plus Trinity Force is like maxi version of just be a tower murderer. And of course levels in Q, so if you were to be like maxing E first, it would be interesting. Ooh, okay, he gets flash hunt, buffers that really well. He might die though. No, but it's still a disaster. Oh, he's steeping top, okay. GP immediately mashing. Don't think he can really push into the GP that hard. Maybe if he had Ravenous, but yeah, he GP plays it well. But Yasuo shows up. Like, they can probably get the tower, but there's no way they can get in him. And they just... Yeah, he had to die for tower. Wait, what? Oh, never mind. That was, Did he get the tornado or the E? How did he get the... Oof. Yeah, that's... Feels bad if you're a Zir. You have Zanya's up and he just... Poor guy. How did they lose? So he's on 6 items in his inventory, and he I mean, he could maybe base and sell Doran's for Vamp Scepter or whatever, but he'd much rather just take the red buff, which is really good on him anyway, and stay on the map, right? The red buff is post level 11. Red buff is just as good as a Vamp Scepter for sustain. So obviously functions very differently. Instead of being in combat, it's when you're out of combat, but it's just, it'll heal you up to full pretty quickly. But he does actually opt for a base after, and he goes another Jarm, so he's going to be going Titanic. Okay. Really wants that team fight power. It sucks when you're going for like tower dives, and then if you want to really be a threat, you tower dive GP, and then you force him out of lane, but then he just comes back, right? You're pushing, like you force him off this tower. You force him off this, I mean, there's not much more to take, I guess. Still, I mean, you're here, you're pushing this, and you force him off here. He has to go back to base. You kind of sustain it to full with Ravenous on the next wave. If you go Titanic, then you have extra teamfight power, but I don't know. Like earlier, I can completely understand going Sterax because the map was closed, and that was, or the map was open rather, and that was something that like going for the Titanic in that scenario, or the Jarms rather, very good. It's definitely this could be the right call, but it's more close. If you're this Camille, I would recommend doing whatever the fuck you want in this scenario, but definitely knowing the pros and cons of both. But in the first scenario, I would say that the Sterax is just the correct decision, right? So he's tanking it. Sterax pops to tank it because there's this minion left. Is this where they just lose? They have a lot of sustain. It's 2v3. They could just lose the game here. Never mind, it looks like there's a bit more. Oh. Alright then. He gets another. The Rakan gets the shutdown again. That must feel really bad. That's 2 1k shutdowns on Rakan. That's one fucking rich Rakan. Rakan has more gold than Karthus or Yasuo. A lot more than Yasuo. But the Karthus has 6 skill and he's got more gold than because of the shutdowns. I mean, he's 6 item with control ward. What do you even? You stop getting control wards? Feels pretty bad. Okay. So no, Camille does Baron really, really fast, especially if she's the one tanking, because she does so much repetitive true damage. But instead she actually opts to do a bit of zone work. So yeah, Q2 is the Leona, goes through the big chunk. So I mean, this is looking alright from his side. But then he just gets completely smacked by the yeah, that's no good. Though, wow, that Kaisa, that Death Stance paid a lot of dividends right there. It allowed her to stay long enough to trade 1-for-1 with the Lucian, and the fact that Lucian didn't live means that Azir and GP are gonna be up, and this looks like they're gonna end off that. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like, it was his mistake. He probably didn't need to overextend that far into the enemy jungle to zone. He was kind of greeting onto that Leona when he could have just backed off and taken what I think was I mean, not a free win, but right, you've got a Karthus. You're a Camille. Lucian's the crit build. It's not. I don't know. I mean, I can definitely see where his line of play, like what he was thinking, but he just didn't respect the Leona ult into the Wombo combo from Kaisa. So, but overall, I think it was a pretty good game. There was quite a bit of mid-game decision making. We got to see how him and Hillsing went for picks. They really, really played to what their champions do correctly. They made a huge comeback in mid-game by playing to those win conditions. We saw it in lane phase. Even though he got solo killed, there was a good idea behind it, right? Remember, he wanted to get a nice trade in before he TP'd back. He didn't quite calculate his damage correctly, so he ended up dying for it. That's something that I highly recommend you do in solo queue. Go for it. If you don't know exactly how much damage you're going to deal, go for this play, and if it doesn't work out, that's fine. But if that had worked out, then he'd be in a really good spot. And if he's in a position where he needs to win, aka for him it's a pro game, for you it's, I don't know, your promos, and whenever you just, this is playing to improve and going for those types of those picks. Yeah, clearly he could have died to the GP by going in for that, but I can understand where his thought process was, where he could just use his Q movement speed to disengage, and then he would be in a really favorable lane state. So, and then we got to see him play it relatively well by taking trades. We saw his lane control was pretty good throughout the entire lane. He definitely, everything you could see, there was a thought process behind it, at the very least, and it was generally pretty good thought processes. So definitely the mid game, the most impressive part about this, how him and Hillsing kind of teamed up and just really almost brought the team back. Then they threw it at the end, but still pretty nice VOD. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.